And so, our expectations, I think we managed ours and our shareholders' expectations that it would be great if Barrick would identify one or potentially two projects in Japan that were like that. And so we were just thrilled when Barrick selected 6 projects of our portfolio of 29 to host that Tier 1 or Tier 2 potential.
Hello to viewers tuning in to Assay TV. We're here with Japan Gold, and I'm very pleased to be speaking with John Proust, CEO. John, how are you? And thanks for speaking with Assay TV.
I'm well.
today.
Yeah, thanks for hosting our meeting today.
Yeah, excellent. So let's get an update. Could you provide us with an overview of the many projects that you've got? It's a collection of 31 projects, I believe.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, we have an incredibly large portfolio in Japan. We have 31 projects that cover or dominate the 5 major gold provinces or gold-bearing areas of Japan. We were fortunate to be able to be the first mover in the country when we entered upon the change of the mining law in 2012. And after careful study of the 64 closed gold mines in Japan that have been closed since the Second World War and since 1943, we were able to carefully identify mines that were similar to the one and only operating mine, the giant Hishikari gold mine in Japan that operates today. Interestingly, the Hishikari gold mine is a Tier 1 gold mine, and it's one of the highest grade in the world. It's owned by Sumitomo Metal Mining, and it's mined over 8 million ounces of gold to date at an average grade of between 30 and 40 grams per ton, and it still has over 5 million ounces of reserves remaining, so it's a 13 million ounce ore body. And so that bodes very, very well for the potential of Japan. The 31 projects that we selected, those 31 projects are all a similar style of mineralization to Hishikari. So we very much focused on what's called low-sulphidation epithermal gold opportunities, which are really quartz veins. And in Hishikari's case, they're about half a meter wide to about 3+ meters wide, and are bearing gold and silver, etc. So that's what our portfolio is made up of, and it's across the 3 main islands of Japan: Hokkaido in the north, Honshu, the long central island, and Kyushu in the south.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, great spread and great collection of projects. Let's talk about the significance of your Barrick alliance, though, and what that really brings to bear for your company.
Well, it's interesting that the 31 projects that we have actually cover 47 of the closed gold mines in Japan that haven't been reopened since the Second World War. So we know that there's a very strong gold endowment. There's clearly gold in the system. And that and our first mover advantage has really, I think, caught the appetite and interest of the major mining companies in the world. So we're fortunate to have the 2 largest gold mining companies in the world, Barrick and Newmont, deeply embedded in our business. 2.5 years ago, we actually completed a competitive process to select a countrywide alliance partner on 29 of our 31 projects. And 5 companies competed, including Newmont and Barrick and 3 other well-known companies. And we selected Barrick as our partner. Barrick was an ideal partner because they came in with a view of evaluating all of Japan. Because what we're doing is we're restarting the gold mining industry in the country. So they came in with a view that they were prepared to evaluate all 29 of our projects to the Barrick standard. And so our agreement had Barrick fully fund that evaluation, and that evaluation just concluded a couple of weeks ago at the end of August of 2022. The evaluation consisted of geochemistry and geophysics across over 2,000 square kilometers of the best mineral rights of Japan, with our team being the operator on behalf of Barrick. And Barrick, again, really was enthusiastic about getting all this material together. The goal was that by the end of August, they had to select which projects out of our 29 had the potential to host a Tier 1 or Tier 2 gold ore body. Tier 1 being 5 million or greater ounces, with the potential to produce 500,000 ounces a year for 10 years plus. Or a Tier 2 is 3 million ounces or greater of gold, with the potential to produce 300,000 ounces of gold per year for 10 years or plus. And so our expectations, I think we managed ours and our shareholders' expectations that it would be great if Barrick would identify one or potentially two projects in Japan that were like that. And so we were just thrilled when Barrick selected 6 projects of our portfolio of 29 to host that tier 1 or tier 2 potential. In addition to that, what they did was more recently we've acquired more ground around our project areas as the Barrick evaluation was ongoing and we were finding anomalously high areas of gold that spilled outside our property boundaries. So Barrick has also selected 3 other project areas for further study over the next year to potentially include in that group of 6,
right.
or add to that group of 6.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, so it could be expanding here. But where are the 6? Are they condensed?
Yep.
Are they dispersed?
No, they're dispersed throughout Japan.
Nice.
So 3 of them are in the northern island of Hokkaido. One of them is the only project that we had on Honshu, on the long central island. And 2 of them, as you might imagine, are either side of the Hishikari gold mine. And it's quite unique because in the district that hosts the Hishikari gold mine, it's called the Hokusatsu region, we actually now hold over 84% of all prospective ground in that region.
Right.
And 2 of those projects, again, adjacent to the Hishikari mine, were selected by Barrick with that potential.
Excellent. That's great. Could you provide a snapshot of the independent Newmont ROF projects as well?
Yeah. So predating the alliance that we put in place with Barrick, and it's a bit of a story. Goldcorp was the initial company, Goldcorp not existing any longer, but Goldcorp really took an interest in Japan with their head of exploration, Paul Harbidge, at that time. And so they came to Japan, they saw what we had, and they wanted to acquire an equity stake. And we also gave them the right of first refusal to be our joint venture partner on our 2 most advanced projects in Japan. And for that, Newmont decided that they would form a technical committee to help guide the advancement and evaluation of those 2 projects. And then things moved on. Well, ultimately, just several months later, after Goldcorp became involved, Newmont acquired Goldcorp. And Newmont actually featured Japan as one of the exploration destinations that they were happy to acquire from the Goldcorp acquisition. And so today, Newmont owns 10% of our company. Right. And they have that right of first refusal on the 2 projects and the technical team that supports our company.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, clear it up. Excellent. Well,
and so, just to add to that, so with those 2 projects, one is in the southern island of Kyushu, and one is in the northern island of Hokkaido.
Okay.
The one that's in Kyushu in the southern island, that project is surrounded by the project that Barrick has been evaluating over the last 2.5 years. So over this past year, we really haven't spent a lot of time advancing that one any further. It's already gone through mapping and geology and geophysics and geochemistry and some scout drilling. So we see some real potential for a much bigger program there. And so stay tuned. But what we did do is we focused all of our activity on the northern project up in Hokkaido, outside the Barrick Alliance and with Newmont. We're very fortunate that, again, we've done all that preliminary work there, and because we have our own drilling division in Japan Gold, we have 26 people and 4 diamond core rigs, we've been able to aggressively drill 3 significant prospects on that project. We started drilling 1 last year with 11 holes and very positive results, the Rio prospect. We've finished 7 more holes this year, and we're about to report on those results.
Nice.
Now, while we're waiting for those results, we've also drilled 2 other prospects, one in the Soroma Valley and one the Kitano East prospect. And so we're expecting to have quite a significant set of news over the coming months.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to lead to my next question of what are the sort of catalysts that investors can look out for, obviously these results coming through.
Yeah, indeed. So there are 3 main areas that I think investors should really focus on the company now. And any investors are really benefiting on the 10 years that we've been active in Japan, restarting this industry, building these relationships, not only with government, but with these 2 large partners that we have in Japan. So going forward, as we were discussing, drill results. So starting as early as next week, we'll expect drill results, and we'll expect drill results in October, November, December, right through to the end of the year on these prospects that we've been drilling. So that's very positive. And we may even continue to drill on if some of those areas that we're drilling now have demonstrated strong assays. We may even do a little bit more drilling before the end of the year to add to that. In addition to that, we've got Barrick. Now, Barrick, of course, has selected their 6 key projects to go forward with, and no one's sitting on their hands here. We're already very actively doing advanced geophysics, which is helping us pinpoint where the drill bit will go, and we'd like to be drilling before the end of the year on at least one or more Barrick project. Yep. The other piece, which is really interesting, and I think this is capturing a number of the shareholders' attention, is that the projects that Barrick didn't advance because they didn't meet their criteria are excellent projects. And I think we would all agree that perhaps they didn't meet Barrick's standard, but they certainly have high prospectivity in terms of going forward. Yeah. So we have a number of companies that have been in the wings, waiting to see what Barrick was going to do and complete their evaluation, that would now be interested in advancing discussions with us about being our partners on those projects, on those other projects. And so we've got several decisions to make. And to underpin our decisions, we've been doing for the last 2 weeks, and we'll continue for another week, we're evaluating all the other projects that we've got in our portfolio to deal with or transact with, in terms of our priority with those projects and the potential of those projects. And out of that will come a couple of things. One, we'll decide, are there any projects that we'd like to keep for ourselves? You know, maybe we'd like to keep 1 or 2 projects for ourselves. Are there any projects that we'd like to sell? Because some companies are interested in buying a project from us, and that might be a sale with us retaining a royalty. And that'll allow us to take capital and add it to our treasury. The third thing that we could do is enter into new joint ventures, just as we've discussed. And of course, we've got a lot of data now on the projects that we've got on offer. And so with new joint venture partners, that could really accelerate and advance those joint ventures to a more advanced stage of drilling potentially there. We're also fortunate that we're not financially constrained. So we're well funded to complete this year's operation and well into next year. And so that means that we can carefully review our options and make the best decisions on behalf of our shareholders.
Yeah, excellent. Well, it sounds like a very strong position to be in, but with a great deal of exciting, interesting work to come. So we look forward to catching up as that progresses on Assay TV. So thanks for speaking with us, John.
Thank you. And my pleasure. Good to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you.